The original Kane Lynch was a success despite the controversy surrounding it. And like any good success, a follow-up is inevitable regardless of necessity or even demand. With the titular duo now in Shanghai, are the dog days mentioned in the title just theirs, or are they yours as well? Lynch now lives his life with his girlfriend as an enforcer for a small-time crook, but calls old friend Kane for a big deal. Things start out innocently enough, with Lynch having to talk some sense into a scumbag while Kane tags along. But things go horribly wrong and an innocent girl gets killed in the process. From there on, things go to hell both figuratively and literally. The story is flat out absurd, made worse by the fact that the game plays its insane scenarios with a straight face. How did a government official's daughter end up in mob turf? Why does said government official not simply send a few hitmen as opposed to an army? How in the name of God do Kane Lynch survive 1,000 cuts without intensive medical care? And last but not least, why doesn't the military personnel in charge of capturing them restrain the duo when transporting them while also keeping the helicopter doors open? The original might not have been a narrative masterpiece, but at least it made sense. Gameplay-wise, Kane Lynch 2 offers even less than its predecessor. The original was an intriguing mix of team tactics and cover shooting, but the sequel disposes of the tactics in favor of a more action-focused experience. The result is less than stellar. Taking cover is now done by pressing a button instead of hoping the automatic system will recognize proper refuge, but enemies can be outright bullet sponges if you can't score a headshot, and explosives are very rarely present. Sure, it makes sense that you won't find grenades just lying around Shanghai, but as a result, the experience never provides any gameplay variety. Yes, there are shotguns, pistols, machine guns, and even a sniper, but every encounter feels just like the last one. Go into cover, pop enemies when vulnerable, wash, rinse, repeat. There are street thugs, military soldiers wearing body armor, and occasionally dogs in your way, but that's all there is in terms of enemy variety. The health system now works on the down but not out principle, so as long as you don't take further bullets after falling the first time, you'll be fine. And while you're unable to order your teammate around, the AI is thankfully competent and will even take out foes, or at least stay out of your way. Like its predecessor, multiplayer consists of Fragile Alliance, wherein once the heist begins, you are given a small amount of time to grab as much money as you can, then get to the safety of the escape vehicle. If you think the money you've snagged is insufficient, you can simply take out a teammate, but if you're spotted, you've suddenly become as much of an enemy as the cops. If you die, you become a cop and get money by taking your former friends out. It's an interesting mode, but nobody's playing it online. Thankfully, you can still play this mode via arcade mode with bots and receive its unlocks like normal, so if you want to extend your playtime with this game, it's a worthwhile option, especially since the main game will only take you 4 hours. Visually, the game does stand out thanks to its haphazard, quickly filmed with a cell phone for YouTube look, but other than that, it's simply ugly. Fortunately, that ugliness is intentional, as Kane Lynch 2 intends to provide an authentic dirty world, and while the effect works, the end result is still an average looking game. Sound in itself is average, as the distinct lack of Jasper Kid music makes the soundtrack utterly forgettable, and nothing else really stands out. Kane Lynch 2 is thoroughly mediocre. Its best parts are average and its worst parts are simply bad. The short length and absurd story are not compensated for by the average presentation and gameplay, and the result is a game that isn't worth your time or money. If you want to play as a criminal, just play a GTA game. And if you insist on taking on the role of a thug in a cover shooter, just grab the original Kane Lynch. And if you've already played that game, then play it again, because it has a few things this game doesn't. Interesting gameplay and competent storytelling.